This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
Hi, good evening, hello, and welcome to this episode 13. Lucky for some of your Starcast, the official podcast of the Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Just the three of us this week, no guests, still plenty in the pipeline for weeks to come, but just the three of us talking about the week for your Billingham Stars, a win in their only game of the weekend at Leeds, and a big home doubleheader to come. We'll talk about that. All the results and tables from within the NIHL Division 1 North as well, and a spot of any other business. But Carol and Jono are with me as usual. Evening to you both. How's things?
Yeah, both very good.
All good.
Sound as a pound for this Tuesday night as we record. Yeah. And we'll get straight into it with the one game for the Stars in action last weekend. It was at Leeds. A late one thanks to the kickball at Elland Road, but a Saturday night in Leeds. And after a 1-1 first period, it was one-way traffic pretty much all the way. A 10-1 final for the Billingham Stars. When we put the team out, before we'll talk about the game, Carol, when we put the team list out, I just kind of off the cuff mentioned, we've got two brothers. I wonder if that's happened before. And thus sprang out hours of conversation amongst the travelling hordes. We think it has happened in fairly recent memory, but you want to put it out as a challenge to somebody if they can think of when it last happened?
Yeah. So, all you ice hockey geeks out there,
except Danny Phillips as well, by the way.
Oh yeah, Danny Phillips is not allowed to enter. But if you fancy having a go at this one, when was the last time two sets of brothers turned out for our Billingham team? I won't give any clues by giving the team name, but when was the last time two sets of brothers iced for our Billingham team, senior team? Give us your best guesses in whatever comments, whatever stream you're listening to.
Yeah, because we saw the team. Obviously, we called in Tom Wakefield. Jack was backing up in net, so we had Tom and Jack, and also we had the Dowdles. As it happened, it was a dumb stat because Joe didn't play in the game, but he was on the team sheet, but didn't kind of play. But it is an interesting discussion, and I'm sure there was discussions aplenty had down on the travelling contingent.
There was.
Took us pretty much the whole journey to figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll try and think of it next time for an away trip as well. A nice throwaway comment just to get you thinking. But yeah, anybody, any thoughts? Just drop us a note and in the comments, or starcast at march74.co.uk on the email. We'll love to hear from you. But when the game got going proper, we heard the interview from Stephen Foster. We did have a lot of play in the first period. The scoreboard was kind of fairly even, but that was more. Would you say, Carol? You can kick this one on. Was it our lack of taking the chances, or did Leeds kind of play well at first, or was it just one-way traffic throughout?
A more dominant performance you probably won't see all season. I hark back to the first Hull away fixture when I think the three of us all kind of sat here and went, yeah, that was a really dominant performance. This topped that by quite some way. The first period was more the fact that we weren't quite so clinical as we usually are. There was a lot of shots straight at the keeper. Just not making the keeper work hard enough, to be fair. But for the whole game, that result, even when Leeds went in front, that result was seriously never in doubt because we were all over them from the first puck drop.
Yeah. 19 shots on Norton in the first period, Jono, and a bit of deja vu seeing Edgar Vengus open the scoring for Leeds to put them ahead. But then, as Carol says, with the pressure, you knew our goal was coming, and some fella again checks notes called Brown popped up just before the buzzer to level things, and from then on it was only going to go one way.
Yeah, as Carl said, it was nothing but dominant. In the first 5 to 8 minutes were quite sloppy from ourselves. The passes weren't zipping like we used to. Maybe that was due to the lateness of the game and obviously not that far down the road. So your preparations are all out a little bit. But yeah, once the passes started zipping, granted Leeds took the lead. I mean, I think it hit one of our D men and then landed to Wenger, who was wide open, who tapped it in. And I think a few of our fans were getting a bit edgy that the passes weren't connecting. But I sat to a few people around us and said, don't worry, this game, we are dominating this game. We will score one chance. And once that happens, Leeds will just be disheartened from that moment and we'll kick on. And then seconds before the period ended, there he was again, Mr. Brown, lighting it up and getting on his merry way for a good night for himself.
Yeah. So that was 1-1 at the end of the first. Second period, if possible, even more dominant. Shots of 27-5, and 3 goals without reply. Ian Brown with his second, Chris Sykes and Callum Wilkinson keeping his run going as well. So it was 4-1 end of the second. 27 shots, more than one a minute, and that kind of reflects the dominance and the obviously a lot more clinical taking the chances, but just kind of as fans, you were just kind of, it wasn't tennis, you were just sitting one way and that was it, Carol.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we all probably got some form of neck ache or just looking one way for the whole period. Certainly not much work for Jacob to do at the other end, just watching it all unfold in front of him probably. It was, yeah, as I said, it was almost a rerun of the first period, except we were just that little bit better with the shooting sticks. And yeah, I think Leeds were nothing but shell shocked because there was just no getting out of their own zone. It was wave after wave after wave of attack. And the only real surprise was that we were only 4-1 up at the end of the second, because it probably could have been more. Yeah.
And then 4-1 became a lot more. Just before the end of the period, we'll talk about this. It was a major penalty for Ben Greenhalgh, picked up a 5-game for boarding. I'm just trying to think who it was. Nathan Bennett. Obviously, hope he's okay from that. It was a 5-game. We'll see what comes of it. I've had a look at the video. It wasn't that close to the boards, but anytime there's any sort of injury like that, the ref likely to err on the side of caution and call the penalty. I think it was Heinzel jumped in to kind of sort Ben out, but not a lot happened. But he got kicked out as well. So even Stevens on the ice when things restarted. But possibly losing Ben, Jono, if it goes to Dops and they look at the board and penalty.
Yeah, they'll do their thing. What will be in regards to that. I could sit here and moan about it all night long. That we've been on the end of it the past 2 seasons, and we probably will be again, just because they are making the effort to clean the game up. As daft as this sounds, I think the call on the ice was correct. I think the referee had to make that call. But this is where you'd like to think Dops would step in and make the right call and make sure there was no ban. But what will be. As for losing Ben, the kid's just going from strength to strength, and he will be a massive loss. Especially with the running that we've got. I think I mentioned it in one of our fan groups. I think we have 9 to 10 game run coming up now, and it'll certainly defy our season.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate as well. It's at the back as well, Carol, which is where we possibly don't have the cover we have everywhere else. So obviously we lost Joe before the game Saturday, so we're down to 5-day. So we'll finish a game of 4-day, and then obviously depends what happens with Ben. Reinforcements from the blue line may be required.
Yeah, I think I said to Foz in the post-game interview that thus far we've done a very, very good job of making it look like we don't have any gaps in our squad at the minute, but we do, and it's getting harder and harder to paper over those gaps, unfortunately. So if we do lose Ben, that's yet another out of the blue line, and we are thin on the ground at the back. And we're going to have to find reinforcements from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that running that Jono mentioned after this weekend. The fixture list is a little on the unkind side, you could say, but we'll talk about that shortly. Just finish off the Saturday action. So it was 4-1 end of second, and then in the third period, just a 6 from the Billingham Stars. Another 2 for Ian Brown. Sorry, another 3 for Ian Brown. Missed that one. Joe Walls, Rowley adding the 10th, couple of minutes from time. A special mention for the goal at 46 minutes and 55 seconds. Scored by number 22, Sam Dowd. Who wants to take Sam's glory and talk us through that one? Jono, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take it. The lad had some chances on Saturday, and you can see with every chance that passed by, even in previous weeks, he's starting to grip that stick a little bit tighter and look up at the cloud and thinking, am I going to get this chance? This one fell to him. He's got blistering pace. To be fair, he's probably the quickest player in NIHL North 1 and 2. I don't think many people are going to outskate him. He is that quick. He skated into some space, made his move on the netminder and finished it very, very well. His celebration was more of relief, but it was more buzzing to see the lads cheer. We're more happy for him. So they understand as well, and which was great to see. And I think Shug went and got the puck for him. But a great moment, a great goal. And I think he's going to have a great career following on with the great Dowd name in Billingham.
Yeah. I mean, he's scoring a fair bit with the Bucks as well, Carol. So he obviously knows where the net is, and as Jono says, maybe thought he was a bit snake bitten in front of the Stars net, but putting that one away on Saturday, and hopefully that kind of unlocks the Dowd magic for weeks to come here with the Stars jersey on.
Oh, I'm just so pleased for him. I'm absolutely over the moon for him, because I think Jono just said it right there. He had started to look a little frustrated in front of goal, and a couple of chances that he possibly should have done better with, but you could see he was kicking himself over those and maybe trying a little bit too hard. But yeah, he's got an immense turn speed. Reminds me a little bit of Craig Thurston, actually, just the way he can put the wheels on. And he certainly showed that speed for his goal. And when he scored, yeah, you could see the whole relief and weight off his shoulders. So now that monkey's off his back, hopefully that's just the start, and I'm sure it will be, because he's a really talented player.
Yeah, no, I look forward to seeing what comes in games to come. So that was Dowd, assisted Walls and Elder. Michael Elder, sneakily another 4 assists. He's turned into a right assist monster this season. Not so much in the goals column, but Mikey's piling up the assists and maybe showing a different side to his game, Jono.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's always had that in him, and he's always had goals in him as well. But when you've got a sniper like Chris Sykes on your line and someone who is free scoring as Ian Brown, I mean, just give the puck to them and let them light it up, and they will certainly rack the goals up, and they'll rack the points up for you as well. He's got a very good hockey brain. He knows how to find space, and he's a very great passer of the puck as well. And he can put it into those tight areas where players like Sykes and Ian Brown want it to do the damage in front of net.
Yeah, no, good to see. So a 10-1 final. Jack Wakefield got in for the final 9 minutes and change. Saved all of the one shot that he faced. Leeds also played their backup for the last 7 minutes and faced 12 shots. Final shot total 68-17. So that just shows the dominance. And as we said, Ian Brown, 13 games after Saturday night, 26 goals in 13 games, just 5 on Saturday. So 5 for him, 4 assists for Mikey, multiple point games. Joe Walls had 1+2. Checks notes here. Sykes had 1+2. Cal Wilkinson 1+2. Rowley 1 goal, 1 assist, and then assists for let down the lineup as well. So as again, every line contributing and chipping in. And do we need to talk about Ian Brown? I think we've said enough. Just let him keep doing what he's doing. I mean, 5 goals. I think the Stars' social is redonkulous. The stats: 26 goals in 13 games. But yeah, it's just once you're on a wave like that, you've just got to ride it and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is as well, we've always said you always need that 30-goal scorer to help win your championships. The lad's going to have 30 goals completed by 14, 15 games. That is ridiculous. I remember a few years ago, we were worried about replacing Finn Braden's 28 goals because he had an outstanding season. And I think Ian's about to come along and make that look not good enough. I mean, you're going to have to be a 40, 50 goal scorer now. And by the way he's gone, he's certainly going to end up with those numbers.
Yeah. And we'll see where it takes him. Like you say, 26. So he'll have Finn Braden by middle of November. Rowley's 49 from last year is certainly under threat. So yeah, so when you're on a roll like that, you just got to ride it out. And Fuzzy made a good point as well. Yes, Ian's he's finishing all of the moves off and getting the plaudits, but as we see, Mikey's 4 assists, multiple points all the way. It's still very much a team effort, and even without Ian's goals, it's still a comfortable win for Billingham. So it's not like we're relying on Ian to do all of the damage to get us the results, Carol.
No, and you have to remember Ian hasn't been playing on a usual line for some weeks now, so it's not a case of one player supported by one line scoring all the goals, because that's not true in this case. Yes, Ian's got 26 goals, and that is genuinely redonkulous, but he's doing that on the first line, on the second line, on the third line, and every other line's chipping in. So it's a genuine team effort. It just so happens that Ian's stick is on fire, and everything that he touches seems to go in the net. Brilliant! It's great that happens, but it is a team effort at the end of the day. And all kudos to the guys for putting in the work to be able to find those spaces and find those lanes for Ian to skate into, even though they may not necessarily regularly play with him. It is brilliant to say that the lines just seem to be that flexible that they can just support him in that way.
Yeah. I mean,
he already scored 23 goals last year in the 20 games that he played. So he's come back with I am this good, and I'm going to show you I am this good.
Yeah. No, he's definitely got to come with a point to prove, and by heck is he doing it. I mean, we said last week about Callum Wilkinson being a kind of a free man to move between lines. I think Ian's shown also can move between lines, and as Carol says, the next man up mentality applies throughout the lineup. People can fit in where they need to and still produce and still getting results, and the teams still get the wins. So a comprehensive win at the Elland Road, first league visit down to Elland Road. Next one's in the new year, so first and last for this calendar year anyway. Anything more on Leeds before you move on to the results in wider? Yes, Carol?
Take thermals. Oh my God. I think because the only time I've been to Leeds before was for playoffs, I must have had a beer blanket on, because I don't remember it being that cold. It was absolutely Baltic in there. Right. Tips for travelling fans: try the hot chocolate, which is gorgeous. Don't take any notice of Leeds stated admission pricing, because it's a lie, and take some thermal underwear, because it's Baltic.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just on the admission, I did get a message. It's they were saying it was 12, but being a Planet Ice, it's 12 plus 12%. So was it say 13.44?
13.44.
Yeah, whether you're paying cash, doesn't matter. They still charge it.
Yeah. So the booking fees at the Planet Ice venues.
No, just Leeds.
No,
only applies in Leeds.
Yeah,
it seems to be a Planet Ice thing.
Only at national level.
Only at national level. They don't charge in Blackburn. They don't charge in Widnes.
Solihull, Blackburn, and Widnes all put a statement out saying it wouldn't apply to them in NIHL 1.
Right.
Just Leeds.
just Leeds then. So we'll see. See if they change their from the club side. Obviously, advertising £12, which kind of doesn't exist.
Correct.
On the hockey though, a successful Saturday and a free Sunday, which meant our favourite pastime of sitting back and watching the other results from around the division, with a glass of something in hand, no doubt. So let's have a look at the results from the weekend. And this week, I will remember that I've created a graphic to use, carefully borrowed from the England Ice Hockey social media feed. But yeah, so from NIHL 1, Saturday, a wild game at the Chip Spice Arena. Hull Jets found their home form 9-6 over the D-side Dragons. I think the Mebbies had a bit of a wobble when it was 9-4 and then 9-5 and then 9-6. I thought, oh, hang on. But no, 9-6 it stayed. Obviously, Billingham's win at Leeds we know about. And then the 4 games on Sunday. Huge win for Sheffield, a 3-0 shutout of the Leeds Knights. And then D-side in the game of the day, possibly shutting out the Solihull Barons, 4-0 on D-side. Widnes Wild 4, Whitley Warriors 7, and then finally Blackburn getting a revenge on the Lions, winning that one 4-1 at Blackburn Arena. Where would you like to start? And the word netminder is going to come from the mouth of Jono Longstaff. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, we will go with that Hull Jets D-side Dragons game. I think it has a huge consequence on the league. Obviously, D-side were flying. Obviously, just brought Matt Croyle back for a reason to help them win games, and for whatever reason, it just didn't happen for them on Saturday. I think Hull getting back to winning ways. There's no surprise to the point, but the home form hasn't been of that of last year. But I just don't think anyone expected D-side to go into Hull. Be a tough game, yes, but to lose out 96, I just don't think is acceptable from the Dragons. And that's my opinion on that one.
Yeah. I mean, you said because the re-signed Matt Croyle, but they had him on the bench at Hull, and was it Ollie Booth that was in? I haven't had the game sheet, so we don't know who was in for D-side. But in obviously they had the big game on Sunday as well, so you can see maybe the priorities was the home game. But Matt Croyle hasn't played a lot of hockey over the last few weeks, so he should have been able to handle 2 games, you would think, Jono?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, I mean, the game on Sunday shouldn't bear anything. I believe they went to Solihull not that long ago and borrowed a netminder, I believe. I don't think they went with their strongest netminder duo to Solihull and won quite comfortably. So with a home game, you know they're going to be stronger. They've got the crowd behind them. They'd be a lot more confident. And he showed what he could do on the Sunday. He shot out the Barons on home ice. By all accounts, I was told he didn't have much to do to a point, so they've played very well. But if you're chasing a championship, you've got to ride your goalie, I'm afraid. And it's cost them early twice. They did it at Nottingham, and they've done it again against Hull.
Mm-hmm. And the Jets, I think, had Volkanov's back in the lineup, so he obviously makes a huge difference to them. In their lineup, scored a nice goal as well. Just saw on socials this afternoon. But Hull's home form, Carol, obviously we've been down there a couple of times and came back with the points. We know Hull's home form isn't what it was, but when they're on form in their own arena, they've shown as they did on Saturday to D-side.
Yeah, and it's crucial for their success really, because if you hark back to last season, where it was their road form that really stopped them from being any higher in the table. It was 100% their home form that was keeping them in contention, and that slipped a little. And I think if you're one of the coaches at Hull, that's what you want to put right as soon as possible, really. So I actually wasn't that surprised that Hull got the result on Saturday. I think what mostly surprised me was the manner of it, because they were, I think you alluded to it earlier. They were 9-4 up at one point. Bit of a late put my teeth back in. Bit of a late rally from the Dragons to make it a little bit more respectable. But really, I kind of expected a whole win, but I expected it to be closer than this. Be interested to see what, if anything, comes out of that game as well, because if you go by Dragons socials, there was a fight in the last 2 minutes of that game. So we'll see if anything comes of that this week.
Right, we'll keep an eye on DOPS as we do. The Sunday schedule, obviously Dragons getting their result back against Solihull. Sheffield Leeds, huge for Sheffield, and they move into the playoff places. Leeds obviously still finding their feet a bit. Jono, do you think?
Yeah, just covering about a 12 game with them yesterday. That was the worst out of the 2 games that we played against them so far. Saturday it looked like their very first game together. Whereas at our players, I think there was a bit of substance to them. And I think that performance from Saturday is continued into Sunday. Because they've got a lot of talent there, so I was quite surprised to see them get shut out. But yeah, I think these are the weekends they'll learn the most from. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got a victory or 2 in the next couple of games.
Yeah. Anything else, Carol? We'll mention obviously the Dragons won. Warriors winning at Widnes. Widnes had a new player in the lineup. We'd never heard of this before, and you think there might have been a rumor or two, Jono, but Matty Barlow's back at Widnes. Who'd have thought?
Mr. Barlow has turned up again in the Northwest with his original club, the Widnes Wild. And I don't know if he was on the score sheet, but he's obviously helped them make an instant impact, because I think that game went to the wire. I know it was 7-4, but it was certainly 4 going late into that game. And I think that old boy Skippy got him a late couple of goals and an empty net goal to make the scoreline much more in the Warriors' favour.
Yeah. So the rumor was 2 players into Widnes. Half now has become true. Are you still? We'll talk about it in any other business if you want, but anything still on the wires in the Northwest?
Everything's very, very, very quiet. I've messaged a few people to see what's going on, and I think the D rumor of Blackburn has certainly gone very quiet. There was a rumor of one more going to D side, but God knows. It probably explains why they've got all the sponsors advertised on social media, because I think they're drubbing up. But if they do need anyone, it would be a D man. So I don't know what's going there in D side. And the one more for Widnes, again, gone very, very quiet. So it'll be interesting to see if he pops up anywhere else on a permanent basis.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled to social media and to other podcast outputs. We'll see what happens. In terms of the league table, then still makes very happy reading for those on T side. So Billingham, 12 wins from 13 games, 36 points. Blackburn, thanks to their win, have moved into second, 27 points, same as D side. Hull Jets just a point behind on 26. Warriors have 22 points. And then the Barons still in 6th place, 7 wins, 5 losses from their 12 games. They need to make a bit of a run if they're going to feature at the top end of the table, you would fancy. Then Nottingham 15, Sheffield into the playoff places on head-to-head against Leeds, who still have 7 points. And win this with their 2 points from their OT win last week. But we'll see how Matty Barlow, I think I'm Matty Davis. That would be a big signing, Matty Davis to Widnes. Matty Barlow to Widnes. See how he when he settles back in and gets up and running. So we'll see who they play next. Oh, hang on. Yes, we'll talk about the weekend ahead. Anything else on the resulting table before we move on?
No, just obviously Widnes have probably got to be careful. I know we're going to go into Widnes, but there's a 5-point gap now, and that can't get any bigger if they want to make the playoffs. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they write this season off and try and get a group of players together to carry them forward. But I think if they have got any ambitions to make the playoffs, they need to start something, and they need to start it now.
Yeah. Are you going to chip in anything, Carol?
No, I think it was more along the lines of that Witness Whitley result. I don't know if any of you guys listening to the Witness podcast. I do tune in to try and get a little bit of background there. And again, they seem to be quite happy with the performance. I said this before we played them the last time as well. They did seem to be very happy with the performance on Sunday. So maybe there is a feeling again. I don't know if it'll be a false dawn again, but there is a feeling in Witness that a wee corner might have been turned.
Yeah, well, we'll see very shortly, because as we return to action this coming weekend, it's not one but two home games for the Billingham Stars. Saturday sees a quick return of the Widnes Wild. Just 2 weeks ago, they were on Teesside. They come back on Saturday at 5:30, and then Hull Jets on Sunday. Saturday's game will be our remembrance game. Obviously, first chance to commemorate remembrance, which a lot of the teams did very well this weekend just past. So we'll have our ceremony pre-game on Saturday. But Widnes Wild, Jono, you've talked about Matty Barlow. Matty Davis would be a hell of a rumour, but that's just a slip of the tongue from yours truly. We said it when they came into us after winning in Sheffield, so they'll be on a high. As Carol says, they're fairly buoyant after their performance against Whitley, if not the result. So any time a new player bounce, kind of, again, we have to be, and depending on who was on D on the weekend, we've got to be careful and get ready to play.
Yeah, I think we were probably saying that we probably had to be a little bit too cautious last time around. I was starting to think of it the other way, is if they come into this game too confident and too happy with what's gone on previously or last weekend, they could find themselves like in a hole like they did last time. For us, I think, to be honest, even missing Ben, and obviously Stat's still banned. Obviously, Joe Dowdle will go through a fitness test this week, hopefully, and he'll come through that. And I think we'll probably be fine from there on in. But again, I think we've mentioned it a few times. We've got its mindset. As long as the lads train well and they're focused on the job in hand, knowing it's Widnes first before Hull on Sunday, they can use the first game as a tune-up for Sunday's bigger game against Hull, and get their eye in, get things finely tuned, and get themselves rolling for the big running.
Yeah,
Christmas running.
And as we said, Carol, it's a quick return for Widnes. Playing them so close back to back like this. Do you think that the first game will have any bearing? As Jono says, do you want to kind of, we did this 2 weeks ago, so will it be in the player's mind, do you think, this is going to happen again?
Well, I'd like to hope not, because I think that might breed a little bit of complacency. I'm kind of hoping, and I'm sure the coaches will approach it like this, that they just approach it like any other game. I don't think we can afford to really say, oh, well, we played them 2 weeks ago and they weren't very good. I just, that mentality is not what's needed here. We say this every week. We're probably getting quite boring, but we absolutely have to go into this as we would every other game. Doesn't matter who's in front of us. We have to approach it in the same way, with the same mentality. And I think if we do make that mistake and say, oh, I played them 2 weeks ago, no great shakes, don't really have to turn up, that's when we're going to find ourselves in bother.
Yeah, and with the coaching staff as they are, and as they've been so far the last couple of seasons, you'd think that wouldn't be the case. They wouldn't have that complacency. They would come ready to play on Saturday and treat it as they'll focus on Widnes before they even think about Hull 24 hours later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the one thing we can say about this team so far is how clinical and no prisoners. They're taking no prisoners. They're not bothered about who you are. They're not bothered about the scoreline. If there's a chance to score 10, 15 goals, they will take 10, 15 goals. They are going to send that message out to say, if you want this league title, you're going to have to take it from us. And we're not scared of you. We're not scared by anyone. We will beat what's in front of us. And that's a good message to send, because a lot of teams, and I think Widnes will probably come in Saturday thinking, God, we're only here 2 weeks ago. What did they do to us then? And I think we could start putting that fear factor into teams, which kind of, it doesn't give you anything as such on the scoreboard, but the mindset is you're already in the mines. They're already thinking playing defense. They're already thinking, I didn't go too far forward. I didn't carry the puck forward. I'm just going to get it out the zone, which then obviously creates the turnovers. So I hope we just continue in our way, playing our way, which knowing the coaches that we will, and we continue to dominate and we continue to put goals on the board.
Yeah. No, we'll see what transpires. As I said, we'll see them at training on Thursday and get the lowdown, see how the guys are doing. But Saturday 5:30, the Widnes Wilders. It is our remembrance ceremony pre-game. We'll have the laying of the wreath. We'll have the last post. We're also going to try with the if you've seen the video we released on Remembrance Sunday. The players recorded the lines of the poem in Flanders Fields, so we'll have that audio before they lay the wreath. Then we'll have the last post, and hopefully it'll do remembrance justice as we remember our fallen heroes. So that's Saturday 5:30, and then usual game day Sunday 5:30, and it's the first time on Teesside for the Hull Jets. Obviously, we play them down there twice with the 6 points. We'll see who comes in Carroll in terms of Hull. With Volkanovs, we haven't seen him, but if he comes with them, obviously it's a different proposition, and it's going to be a fair old encounter on Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, we saw Volkanovs in the first game we played them, and that was the one that we played them off their own ice. He was missing for the second one, and they played a lot better. So Hull aren't a one-man team, I think, is what I'm trying to say. And it's, I think it is going to depend on who turns up for them. They've just had a massive result against Teesside, which breeds confidence, which is, good for them. They haven't been as inconsistent on the road this year either. So I'm expecting a very tough game, regardless of who turns up. I'm expecting a very tough game, and I think it's already in their heads that they owe us for taking the points from their barn twice. So they are going to be up for a little bit of revenge, and yeah, they're a decent outfit, and I'm expecting a toughie.
Yeah, and they play Saturday night as well, John. I'm just checking. They play the Lions in Hull on Saturday night. So both teams will have been playing the second half of a double header. So no advantage to be gained there. Nottingham versus Widnes, probably a comparable opponent. So both teams will kind of be on a par when the puck hits the ice on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think again we said we've got to be switched on. They've got one or two guys up top that can hurt you. They don't have the depth that we have, which is where we have that massive advantage. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what type of roster they do travel with. I know Zach Brown's missed a couple of games lately for whatever reason. Obviously, Vlad's Volkanovs has missed one or two games for whatever his reason as well. And it depends on the Seahawks as well, whether they need one or two guys. I know Kent's been going up with the Seahawks as well. So it will be very interesting to see what roster Hull do bring. Fantastic games last year, barring the cup game at the Forum. I think the beat was once, didn't it? Was it 2-1 or 1-0? It was a very close game with a dubious call involved in that one. So it'll be a very, very close game. Obviously, still missing some players ourselves due to suspensions. And so, yeah, it should be an exciting game for the fans.
Yeah. And we hope we do get the fans to say it. A home doubleheader, I appreciate it's not always difficult to get to both games. So if you can make either game this weekend, it would be delighted to see you at the Forums. It's 5:30 Saturday against Widnes, 5:30 Sunday against Hull. Rest of the schedule for the weekend in the league: Saturday, Sheffield versus Solihull, and as we mentioned there, Hull versus Nottingham on Saturday, and then Sunday. Stick to the pod, will be happy, Jono. It's another Super Sunday with 5 games, everybody in action. Couple of good ones as well. Whitley Deeside, Billingham Hull, as we know, Solihull Blackburn, Widnes Sheffield, and Leeds Nottingham.
That Solihull game is huge. I think I've just seen that they've lost 5 games already this year. Another loss, and I think that's their season done. As looking for a, well, I think it also might knock them out of the cup contention as well, because I believe that is
It is a cup. It's the cup. It's the back
if I
remember,
remember,
half the cup game.
Yeah, if I remember the top of my head, I think if Blackburn win that, that's Solihull's cup run over. So it's a massive night for Solihull. Obviously, got shut out last week. Which, when have you ever heard of Dan Mulcahy, Phil Mulcahy, and Nicholas Otterson being shut out? So they'll be smarting a bit as well. So that's certainly one game to keep an eye on. And I think the other one is it. Widnes Sheffield's massive.
Yeah, Carol, anything stand out for you from the schedule, either Saturday or NIHL Super Sunday? Copyright, we'll have that.
Super Sunday. I think Whitley D-side. I think that's a really big one that we should keep an eye on. The Warriors are horrifically inconsistent at the minute, and they've not used to losing on home ice, which they have done a few times this season. I think all eyes on Hillheads.
Yeah, I say it's going to be an exciting weekend. We'll obviously talk about it next week. I'm just trying to find the Stars fixtures so we can have a look at this run-in that we talked about.
God, it's painful.
Well, we teased it, so we need to. This makes great radio. There's somebody looking at a computer.
Yeah. Hot take is if we win all 10 games, the league's over.
Yeah, not looking that far ahead, I'm afraid.
Win all 10 games and it's over. Get one of those trophies behind you, nicely polished up, and get the ribbons on it.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, actually, being brutal. There's quite a few up there.
Second force, don't be touching either of them, don't be jinxing it.
Oh, I don't. That's why they're up there, actually, because I'm not touching them.
Yeah. So we'll go to the end of the calendar year. So we've got Widnes Hull this weekend, and then next week it's Blackburn away, Solihull at home, Blackburn away, Blackburn at home, Nottingham away, D-side away, and then after Christmas, Whitley at home, Whitley away. So that's
There's literally not one single straightforward game in there. Not one.
I mean, the Nottingham game is a lunchtime
maybe
game
the Warriors
on the big ice as well.
Yeah, I think the Nottingham game being on the bigger pad on the arena pad might suit us a little bit more to them.
Yeah.
I know I watched the highlights of Lions last week, and Padalek was, for the talent he's got, he still was looking very, very slow. So hopefully we have some D-men available for that game, and who've got legs underneath them that can be mindful of him. Yeah,
that's Saturday. I think it's still down as 1 o'clock, but I think it's going to be, is it 12:30? I can't remember.
Yeah, 12.
12. So we'll get that 14th of December at Nottingham. So yeah, so that the fixtures are mad crazy until the end of the calendar year. But as we've said, that it's kind of the team mentality and the I suppose it'll have to be the fans mentality and the club mentality is just next man up, next game up, just take what you got and just keep on rolling. Anything else on the Widnes and Hull doubleheader before we move on to any other business? No. Just as I say, I like to say as many as we can. Obviously, appreciate Saturday is not a normal hockey day, but I think it's. Is there no football this weekend? There's no men's
international weekend.
International break,
so it doesn't count.
So hopefully we can get those who are normally kickball on a Saturday can come down. Saturday 5:30, Remembrance Weekend. Sunday 5:30, Hull Jets. Be great to see you at the Forum. Usual fun and games available around the main event itself, which we'll talk about as we head into any other business. There's no nice way to start with this one, but it kind of came through before we started recording. As we start this little section, just to send our love to Slough Jets and the family of Tyler Hatfield. Terrible news from out of Slough this evening. So not really a talking point, but just send our love to Tyler's family, friends, and everybody at the Slough Jets. So, any other business to talk about from yourself, Carol?
Yeah. I'm extremely disappointed at the response that I got to my request for tunes last week. Big shout out to Mick Fern, who supplied the one and only tune for my suggested podcast playlist. But the rest of you consider yourself on the naughty step.
He asked for some. Was it classical thing he mentioned?
he did. To be fair, he did ask for some sort of classical nonsense that I probably wouldn't put on a playlist anyway. But at least he tried.
He listened all the way through and responded to the challenge.
Exactly.
Talking playlist. This week something different we tried, and instead of, obviously we didn't have a warm up playlist because we didn't have a home game. So it was mainly Sadie, but also Steve and Alan chipped in, and that is now on our Spotify feed. Sadie and Co's road trip playlist. Guess which is Alan's, guess which is Steve Campbell's, and guess which
I was about to say that. I think you could probably go down that entire playlist and mark who picked which one and probably be right.
Yeah. But yeah, some crackers there from Sadie. Well, really from Sadie, yeah. But yeah, we'll try and push that, and we'll see who comes through with the warm up playlist this week. We'll have that on our Spotify. We'll also have a training talks. I believe we're going to try and get the goal scoring sensation that is Sam Dowd.
I believe so.
Excuse me. So we'll try and get him on Thursday before training and get that out before the busy weekend. Anything else from Media HQ? I think that's about enough, isn't it?
Yeah, apart from, do we get 2 playlists this week, given that we're at home twice?
We shall have to consult the playlist.
The playlist guru.
Yeah. It would make sense to have 2 different playlists.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 warm-ups, so...
Yeah. We shall send a note as soon as we finish recording to see if he's on the ball with 2 different playlists. Jono, any other business from you, and any other you can go podcast news or insider news or supporters club news? Which hat would you like to wear first?
I think the only hat I can wear this time round is supporters club news. We released our new merch last week before. I don't know how long it's been. Week before with the sockies. They've gone down an absolute treat. So thank you to all the fans who've shown interest and bought already. If you do want to order one or see what they're like, come and say hello at the supporters club table. We have actually ordered some new merch as well. We don't know if it's going to be delivered in time. Fingers crossed it arrives Friday, ready for you all on Saturday. But come and see us on Saturday to see if it is here with us.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Your Christmas draw still going strong as well?
Yes, Christmas raffle. Come and get your Christmas raffle tickets. The usual stuff. £5 a book, £1 a ticket. If you want to take a load of books to sell onto your schools, your work businesses, let us know and we can arrange that for you as well. Any businesses out there that want to help with prizes, also please get in touch. But yeah, obviously the usual Christmas prizes available. Cash prize as the main prize and many other bits and bobs.
Yeah, no, sounds good. And then both games this weekend, obviously the usual. The Stars merch. I think it's possibly too late to order shirts now. I think Sarah was trying to get them in for last week, so ask nicely. She might see what she can do. But certainly some Stars merch. There's got the shirt raffle each game as well. 50-50, the Stars hot shot. So plenty of chances to win cash prizes as well. So plenty going on around the games. But obviously the main action itself, Saturday against the Widnes Wild, Sunday against the Hull Jets. Hope you can join us at the Forum Ice Arena for all of that. We'll call a veil over things there for this episode 13 of Starcast. Thanks for all you do, people watching and listening and messaging. we do get some messages on the threads, but you can also always leave a comment, like, share, do all of that social media stuff. Billingham Stars on socials is where we put the links to the feeds. But to say the video is on Facebook, the video is on YouTube, and the audio is on Apple and Spotify and Amazon and many, many other places. So plenty of ways to get your weekly Starcast fix. But for now, for episode 13, thank you to Carol, and thank you to Jono, and we'll see you at the weekend. I'm hoping to see you at the weekend as well. 2 home games for the Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. But for now, from Starcast, it is bye-bye.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review when you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.